Om Tameva Mata Tameva Tameva Uscha Shakha Tameva Tameva Vidya Dravinam Tameva Tameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thou my mother, thou art my father, thou art my friend and companion, thou my knowledge, thou my wealth, thou art all in all, O Lord of Lords. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are today almost at the end of Narada's Way of Love, Bhakti Sutra. We're reading the book from Swami Prabhupada, Narada's Way of Divine Love. So we have read that this Bhakti at the end of this book, talking about how a devotee should behave, and a real devotee, how he enjoys the bliss of absolute happiness. He said in the verse number Narada said that Trishattasya Bhakti Reva Gariyasi. It is true, only Bhakti. Bhakti is the greatest, highest, because it is easy, everyone's instinct, there is bhakti, devotion, love, and it can be directed easily towards God. The same love which we are ignorant people, that ignorant people, the same love which is directed to the objects of the fleeting things, when it is directed towards God, it becomes purified and sanctified, and one becomes absolutely established in the joy of that ecstasy of bliss. And then we are reading the verse number 82. There it was expressed that bhakti may be one, love, that is the only one word. But it has its various dimensions, various ways that can be expressed, that love. That love, in many scriptures it is said, there may be 9 types of expression. Normally we know about 5 types of expression. Shanto, Dasso, Shakka, Vatsala, Madhura. 9 types of devotion. There are expression with Narada, Sabari, Rama speaking to Sabari. There are now here, Narada includes all of them, and he speaks about 11 types of expression of that devotion. So what are those? So first it is, we have read the other day, it is Guno Mahatma Sakti, Ashakti. We are Ashakti. Ashakti means we are attached. Clinginess. We cling on to our object, what we love, and whatever we have some fascination. So, this guna, we always are asakta attached to gunas, the qualities of a person, characteristic of a person, and mahima, greatness of that person. So that can be this instinct which is in us, that can be directed towards God, listening to the glory of God, guna, this is his characteristics, his greatness, his beauty, and his extraordinary attraction. So that's a ekodha. Though bhakti is ekodha, only one, bhakti is alone, though it is still only one, bhakti manifests itself. Ekoda sadha bhavati. And what is that? It becomes in 11 forms. So the first form called Guno, Mahatma, Shakti, Asakti. Shakti means Asakti. Love for the glorification of the Lord's blessed qualities. That's a great sadhana. Day and night thinking of the greatness of God and His characteristic and His unflinching affection to us, be the people. And there is another expression of that love, love for His enchanting beauty. When God comes, descends, He brings His unique attraction. His divine form is so pure, so charming, so innocent that everyone who has the pure heart gets easily attracted. Being attracted to that beauty, we are attracted normally on beauty. Everyone loves beauty, to see some beautiful thing, beautiful flower, beautiful sunrise, beautiful moonlight, moonlit night. There are beautiful human faces, child innocence, beauty. So people love that. So God's beauty surpasses all this beauty. And that's why we meditate on incarnations. That is the purpose. Because they are so beautiful, so innocent, so pure. That's why it helps our mind thinking of that beauty. We are thinking of God. No, you take anything in your as a suppose you take some candy, whatever size, shape, or if it is beautifully decorated, and then it attracts more. But if you put the candy in your tongue, you get the sweetness. That sweetness will come. God's sweetness will come. But at the same time, the beauty, which is natural attraction for us, if it is directed towards God and we get attached to that, then one can really make a great spiritual success. And then Rupa Shakti, Puja Shakti. There are people who love to worship. They're offering flower, bringing incense, and making garlands, and preparing food for offering. Yeah? So this type of puja, and we normally we human being we adore. We do some puja, even in a worldly level. You love someone, you get a bouquet of flower when you meet that person. You want to be very show your love or affection. You carry some sweets or something to give him. So that type of worshipping someone whom we love or adoring someone whom we love, that is very natural. So this love, this love for worshipping him. So if we worship the worldly thing, let us worship God. Love for constant remembrance, it is called the Smarana Shakti. We remember many things which will make an impact in my life. But if we can remember God all the time, then according to Patanjali's yoga philosophy, one vritti of love, another vritti of love, third vritti of love. So ultimately, it will be one vritti. All this remembering, say you are a lover of Krishna. You know Krishna's childhood plays as described in the Bhagavad. You remember one story, you remember the other story. Ramakrishna's childhood days, you remember he was walking in the plain field, paddy field, and he saw that beautiful black cloud, and in that backdrop, a white flock of crane flying. Seeing that beauty, he fell down and became totally unconscious and totally went into samadhi. Suppose if I think of this story, it has happened. It is remembering this. See, my mind is going to Sri Ramakrishna, the same Lord who incarnated as a human personality, pure, innocent, seeing a beauty. This is the beauty. We are talking about beauty. Our mind is not that pure. If it is pure, then any beauty we see, people will go to samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna is to go to samadhi, seeing someone very beautiful. And that's the beauty, seeing this natural beauty of a crane, flock of crane flying in the backdrop of black, what is called cloud. It's a very charming scene. And seeing that, he went to samadhi. So, first point, Rupa Sakti, as we said, the beauty, that can be, its culmination has been, can be seen in Ramakrishna's life. Yes, it is possible. If you love that, and you that through the Rupa, external beauty, you can enter into the eternal beauty. And another point, if I remember, now remembrance we are now talking about. Remembering about the glory of God, how? Oh, Sri Ramakrishna, boy, think of the pure boy, innocent boy, knowing nothing of the world and worldliness. Seeing this natural beauty, his mind soared high into samadhi, and he went into samadhi, and he lost his outer. He became in a village. Remember this story when he was a small child. There was a Shiva night, play of Shiva is necessary. This Shiva night, Shivaratri. And they asked him to dress him like Shiva. And when he entered into the lecture platform, or not this, will call the dais, where they are performing the play, acting. And as soon as he entered into the idea of Shiva and got intoxicated and lost outer consciousness. So, thinking of this story, thinking of that story, mind is rotating around Ramakrishna. It's called remembering. You read the Gospel of Ramakrishna and you see one setting in Dakshineshwar. Ramakrishna is sitting there, and so many Calcutta elites have come there, and Sri Ramakrishna is talking about God. And now he stand up, and stood up, and then started singing Mother's Glory. Shama ma ki amar kalo, is my mother black? Like that he started singing, and he went into it and went to ecstasy. Think that entire hall room is charged with spirituality. He went into ecstasy, his face is beaming with joy. Think this way, this is called remembering. People say, I cannot meditate. Yes, meditation is difficult. But this is easy. If one gets fascinated into the beautiful stories of the glorious life of Ramakrishna, or Christ, or Buddha, or Rama, or Krishna, whatever your choice, if anyone does that, mind, you need not have to tell the mind to meditate. Without telling anything, just you read and you remember those readings in your mind is moving around that divine entity, no? So your mind is becoming pure. So this is the point to understand, that this asakti one can generate. Bhakti is easy for this reason, because we remember bad memories. We remember ordinary day-to-day life. What type of memories we remember? Mostly painful memories, mostly disgusting memories. But if one can train the mind to think such glorious memories which will uplift your mind, and which has happened in the life of these incarnations, that is called, this book, whenever you are talking, this book is called talking about Krishna, the Lord, Narayana. Now you can take all are Narayana, all the incarnations are Narayana's incarnation, no? Avatar. Now, this is wonderful idea that one can spend time in remembering the glories and remembering his glories, his play, his enactment. That's why it's called meditation, three types of meditation. One can do rupa dhyana. Dhyana is what? Remembering. Meditation means remembering again and again and again and again. So, rupa dhyana, when one can meditate on the form, beauty of the form. Guru gave the mantra, okay, your mantra is Krishna. Think of Krishna, Krishna's form, imagine that. Rupa dhyana, but difficult. Mind does not stay, cannot hold there, it runs here and there. Now, use this mind this way. You go to the holy place, go to Vrindavan. Mentally, go to Vrindavan now. And just think, this is the place Krishna was playing with the gopis, this is the place he was playing with the cowherd boys, and this story, that story mentioned in the Bhagavad. Just you can spend long hours in meditation, but you spend your time where? Not with material something, but with God in the human form. So this is the bhakta can take advantage of that, remembering the holy associations of God. Now, then comes love, puja, shakti, manonasakti, dasya shakti. One can be feeling love of service. Das means a servant loves the master, or he does his service with one pointed mind. Like not the worldly slave. Slaves are one thing, but willing slavery. Willing slavery is something, and forceful slavery is something. If something you are not willing and somebody tells you, it is a torture. But you love something, somebody, and works for that and serve him, then it's a great joy. There's a distinction. A boy serving, suppose someone is as a duty for money, is doing some responsibility or doing some duties. And someone is doing the same duty, not duty, but I'm serving my beloved Lord. With that attitude is a service that makes him spiritual. So that attitude of a service, love of a servant, as a servant loves, this is genuinely, God is my master, I am his servant. God is the Lord of the universe, I am here to do his service. That's why it is said, Christ said that you serve me when you serve the people who are, when they were, you gave me clothing, Naki, when I was having no cloth, I was hungry, you fed me. So that means God here, but God is in everyone, bringing the God idea that service itself can release. And the greatest example is Hanuman. Hanumanji Mahavir. Mahavir Hanuman, he has for Rama's work. He is always ready. He can do anything and everything to do. He's the master. Swami Vivekananda says, Das tavu janame janame daya nidhe. Oh, my master, I am your servant, this life and life after life after life. No? Das tavu janame janame. I do not know where am I destined to go. I do not know what is your destination, but I am your servant for life and life. So that's why Swami Vivekananda said when he went to Holy Mother, Divine Mother, Sarada Devi, Ma, last time I gave a jump and leaped over the ocean. That means he went to Ceylon by one jump. That's the story. Hanuman gave a big jump. And from India, he went to the Ceylon, Sri Lanka. And there he did whatever Rama's work. For Rama's work, he has so much. No? So now he said, another incarnation, Ma, I jumped. But this time By your grace, I went to that means he came to Chicago, and he said that I went to the West and conquered them. And like my child talking to mother, for your purpose, I did the other birth this way, and now as Vivekananda, I did this job. So he is carrying that I am the servant of the master and the mother. So this attitude, if anyone takes whole day, we do so many work. Sometimes drudgery comes in our life. I'm tired of doing it, work, and so much upon me. Naturally, it is frustrating. But if this asakti comes, this attitude one can take, I'm serving God, I'm the servant of God only, and I'm serving God in all. My God is in the heart of everyone, and I am serving Him and Him only. I don't look at the outside of the personality. Who is looking good, who is looking bad, who is good, who is kind, who is unkind, who is angry, who is non-angry. This I don't look at those sides. I see the Lord is seated in the heart, and I am serving that Lord who is, and I am His servant for this life and life and life and life. So this attitude, if one takes whole day's job, doing all this job, they will be perfectly peaceful, perfectly, it will be rewarding, spiritual benefit. So that can be one idea, love for God as a loving, as a servant, as a servant. Another attitude may be love of God as a friend, Sakya. God is my friend. God is, so a friend has tremendous attraction. But there is a relationship wise different than that of the master and the servant. These are attitudes in the mind. To a friend, you feel very free. You don't have to suppress yourself or be protective of your fine ideas and thoughts, not to say what my friend will mind. Not. You can be very open to him. And you can also be very much joyful that if any difficulty comes, there is my friend is there to help. Friend does not leave. Real friend. Real friend. There are many types of friends, of course. But real friend is that who does not leave even in utmost distress or in any calamity or when you are in good time. Good time, of course, many people will be friend. But bad time, those who do not leave us, they are called the real friend. The God is my friend. God never leaves me. Which time God has left me? I am now because God is there. This is the person is talking. God has not left me. When I am sleeping, other friends may go on their business. They are going to take their rest. But God has not gone. And then this will be dead body. And then even when you are sleeping, deep sleep, God is still there. That's why we may forget, but He never forgets. So this attitude of friendship is a unique idea. Some may choose to create a relationship with God in this aspect. Yes, we can forget, but mother does not forget the child. No? So he is the eternal mother. Here is the eternal friend. So friend, real friend, always is the background. So that's why we find that Krishna is the friend, real friend of Arjuna. Arjuna is in the front, but whenever he turns to see, there is this. Krishna is there all the time. The Lord is there. And for us, God as consciousness is always with our friend. Even to understand when we are in pain, at the time we are experiencing pain, God is there, that's why we feel pain. The dead body cannot feel pain. You feel joy because God is there as friend, holding you all the time, all of us. In pain and in misery, in suffering and joy, in your achievement and in your failure. But worldly friend will be there for when you are achievement, your accomplishment comes, you become very rich person. When you become very rich, then many people will be your friend. They will run around you. When you will be in distress and you lose money and you have no money, you see, all friends have left. Then you even ask you, hey, how are you? Why you look so pale? Have you had some lunch today? Vivekananda, his friends, wow, he was a boy of a barrister's son in those days, Calcutta, highly educated, rich family. When he was young, he's moving, and all the friends flocking around him. And Naren, can you sing? Ha ha. And Naren smiles, and everyone's very in high mood. Oh my God, Naren is so good. And when Naren's father died, and everyone, all the neighboring people or all his relatives started claiming the property and money and this and that falsely, and they have nothing to eat. Days, maybe one day, he has nothing to eat excepting the faucet water in the street. Huh? No, all the friends left. Those, Swamiji said, those would be so happy to see if Naren looks at them. Hey, how are you? He'll be so happy. And now, days after days, it's torn, tattered cloth, dirty, no hair oil, nothing, and he not ate even 2 days, or he's in the drinking only water. All friends left. Uh, but but God as friend has never left. God is inner consciousness, inner reality. He is always there. We make it saguna, then we call God personalized. Nirguna, we call Brahman, Atman, we call consciousness. Saguna, we call, oh, you are a Krishna Bhakta. Krishna is there on inside. I don't see, but he is there. Huh? So, God as friend. So that may be one attitude. People can get attached to that. Someone can have the attitude, it's, God is my son. So it's very natural for mothers. Motherly attitude is very natural. To think God is my son. As mother feels affection for son, and real mother cannot forget the son anytime, wherever they may be. Real mother always thinks of every moment. Oh, my son is here. Had he been here, he would have been done this. He would have been done that. He would have, no. Even their elderly child, and when the child is baby, no question. Their heart and soul is in the baby. No, only child, and the whole world rotates around the child. So that is the affectionate side, like Mother Jashoda thought about Krishna. Then Chandramani Devi, that is to think about Ramakrishna. Kaushalya, thinking about Rama. So the mother thinking of the son. And that can be relationship. Any one woman can think that my child, God is my child. That's why baby Gopala, baby Rama, in Hindu tradition they keep and they worship them. And particularly many widows practicing this attitude attain the highest spiritual level. Are called the Gopala's mother. And his name was Gopala's mother of Gopala. That Gopala is the Krishna, baby Krishna. And that lady, old widow lady, is to think God, he's my baby. The Lord is my baby.
Ammachi also sees everybody as her child. Amrita Mandandamuyima Ammachi. She has everyone as her child.
Right. So if one loves that way, this child, to think of the child only. Here, he thinks Krishna is my child, or Rama is my child, baby child, no? Christ, Mother Mary, and the baby Christ, no? So when in the cradle, think of that baby, no? How is mother's heart 24 hours centered around the baby, no? So one can think God is my baby. And when Gopala's ma attend to that flight, she used to see Gopala everywhere, in every face. He used to see his own Krishna, Krishna, baby Krishna everywhere. So this is another attitude. It is only to do nothing, only turn the attitude. My son versus God is my son. And that son is in every heart. That will come later. But when the mom thinks of his own child, that is more important. My child is this child. There are maybe 1,000 children in a group gathering when say 1,000 children are playing together and 1,000 moms are watching. But each mom knows my child is where. No? When you do some performance, did you see the children's performance? How mom becomes happy? The child is playing and they're clicking, photograph this, that, this side, that side, that side, not others. But her focus is her child. Is it not? So it is instinctive that you do that. Why not you think God was your child? And he is playing in so many ways. So it is very only giving it a turn towards God. God is my child. That another God. Love of God as the husband. It is some type of practice. Madhura bhava they call. The sweetest relationship in human personality, husband-wife relationship. So if someone thinks, okay, I love my husband, so God is my husband. So Mirabai, the great saint Mirabai, she used to think God is my Krishna. Krishna is my husband. And from childhood, she gave her what you call the garland on the neck of Krishna in the temple. And that is the marriage with Krishna. And she does not think of anything else. Krishna, 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 Krishna. And she is day and night thinking, Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, Sri Krishna, 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 nothing else. And see that intoxication that can come. And same human emotions may manifest only thinking, substituting God as my beloved. Love of self-surrender, Atma Nivedana Asakti. Vatsala Sukti comes, Atma Nivedana Asakti. Just there may be another attitude. I cannot do anything. I surrender myself. Oh Lord, I surrender anything and everything I have. All I surrender at your feet. Atma Nivedana Asakti. There you get attached to that type of attitude. Asakti means clinging. It is like glue. If you put glue, then you cannot separate these two things. Two things are glued together, we say, meaning become one. So asakti, attachment to God will be such in this particular attitude. I have nothing to do. Anything happens, like a child, anything happens, runs to mom, 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 mom. No. Yeah. Any difficulty comes, anything, child, that's why then in one sense we should learn from them how they surrender to mother. Anything happens, he cries to mother and runs to mom for safety, security, and protection. All the time. Does not go to anybody. Anything happens, he calls upon his mother. That is, I am offering myself. Atma Nivedana. Nivedana means offering. I am offering myself at your feet. You please take care of me. That is also Saranagati, you can say. That means surrender, total surrender. It's a story of Girish Ghosh, no? To Ramakrishna, the Atma Nivedana Asakti. He was so much charged that he gave everything to be in the hand of Sri Ramakrishna. And I have no power. I have no power to do anything. I am surrendering myself wholeheartedly. Atma Nivedana Asakti. Then Tanmaya Asakti. Tanmaya Asakti means, someone thinking of God may get absorbed and absorbed. See, there is no other emotion. Here, emotion is whenever he thinks of God or a particular form. Of course, that's why we call your ishta. Ishta means your chosen ideal. In bhakti school, you should have to have one, you have to choose one of your ideal. Krishna, Rama, Christ, Buddha, uh, Rama, Krishna, Chaitanya, who you choose as your ideal, who matches with your inclination of the mind, whom you are more open. So when that is done, then here comes loving them to become absorbed and absorbed and absorbed. This is becoming more of a no emotion like that of looking at the child and its care, not looking after like husband wife emotions or all these things. This is a different emotion. This emotion is of no complete absorption in him. That means mind gets more and more absorbed and absorbed and absorbed. As he goes absorbed, so much joy he feels inside. That is the attitude. Not to run for anything. He is here in me. And I belong to him. And then you get submerged yourself. Like you are taking in hot summer, you are going to take a dip into the cool water. No? So you feel so joyful, you don't want to come out of it. Mind is getting more involved into more and deeper. And love of complete absorption. That is, it takes long time, but there may be some people who are advanced and who love, who wants to use their emotion this way, absorption emotion. And that is another paramo biroho asakti. That is another thing in devotion. It is called, they have translated, the love of the pain of separation. Because of the love, they cannot bear the pain of separation. That means if they don't think of God or see the form of God or meditate on God, they cannot bear that separation. That's why every day we chant, even the moment separation from you appears as 1,000 years. So that is the bhakta, the real devotee, genuine devotee. They cannot bear any separation from God. And that is called the separation anxiety. They become so upset with a split second. They become restless. We find in human love also. This appears. But can it be with God? That is the point. If it is with God, then it can lead one to total absorption in God, means so much absolutely giving into oneself into God and God alone. And what a great state of mind then. So these are the 11 different ways one can dedicate themselves for God. So this is 11 point. So it says that we have read the other day some few pages, but I want to read from here, these 6 pages. I'll read it to what I discussed in my way, and that you will find it here more clearly. And this translation of Swami Bhuteshananda Maharaj. So 11 forms of attachment. The attachment to the supreme anguish as a result of separation from him. When you don't see him for a moment, your heart will be panting. Ramakrishna gave the example. When will you see God? So the devotee asked, when shall I see God? The Guru then took that man and took to the reservoir, and he pushed his head in under the water. And after a few minutes, naturally, 1 minute is okay. You can be underwater. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Then what will happen? He will try to come out. But the Guru is holding the head down. And after some time, he released him. Then Guru asked, how do you feel? Oh, I was panting for breath. Then Guru said, when you will be panting for God like this, then God realization will happen. So this is the wonderful idea of separation, feeling that I am separated from God. How can I survive another moment? I have not seen Him, I have not felt Him, I have not experienced Him. So, this type of anguish, that is the 11th one. So, what they have said, the love of the glorification of the Lord's blessed qualities are one. Two, attachment to the Lord's beauty, extraordinary beauty, which surpasses all human beauty. Third, attachment to his Lord's worship, offering flower, incense, and garland, and giving food. People get engaged. Some people I see in Indian tradition, I do not know in Christian tradition, but in Indian tradition, people spend hours and hours and hours in the in their shrine. They say, I was doing. What you are doing? You're cleaning the deity, changing his dress, and then giving some food and water in the breakfast and the lunch and the supper and the night time to put to bed, noon time to rest. All around worship, worship, worship. Swami, our Swami Ramakrishnananda, he was an example of this service, day and night for Sri Ramakrishna. When he served Ramakrishna, when he was in the body, in the sick, in Kasipur Gardens, he continued the same way Ramakrishna's worship. And from morning on, at 4 o'clock, 3 or 3:30 in the early morning, getting up and waking up the Lord and doing everything as if Ramakrishna is living there. So this type of worship, some people can get engaged day and night. Many Indian women, those who are widowed or have no other attraction, they spend their day in this way. So that is the worship. Attachment to his.
Some people in their altar, they keep 50 images and then keep on dusting like that and all these things. And
But at least good, they are doing, thinking that they are serving God. They are cleaning different images of God. At least they are doing that, and they are not doing other way, spending, though it is not the ultimate state. But in her level of devotion, that keeps the mind in God, or may not be mind in God. At least she is thinking that she is serving God. That's good, rather than doing. People are reading newspaper. Some people read newspaper cover to cover, every word. Some people are watching television news channel, one channel after another channel, reading, and that other person is at least in the shrine, cleaning the bed of all Rama, and one is Krishna, another is Mother Lakshmi, another is Mother Saraswati, another is Mother Durga, another is okay, at least handling them, thinking they are deities, they are gods. So little better than that of this worst thing. But with a proper attitude, if they can do, they will also gain the result. So this is the worship. Attachment to him as the servant to his master, attachment to him as a friend, attachment to him as a child, attachment to the Lord as the husband, love for the surrendering to God, attachment to God in the form of complete absorption, and attachment to supreme anguish, viraha. Means when you are really feeling, I have not seen God, your heart is already connected with God. Because you are intensely thinking, when shall I see? By the time you're seeing that, saying so, your heart is connected with God. Because you're thinking of God only. So these are the forms which bhakti may take, or any one of these may be cultivated by the devotee. It may happen who is progressing in a bhakti devotional path, or we can cultivate any one of them. And if you take care of one, then ultimate result will be God, the love for God will generate. These forms are supposed to be interrelated. Whenever a person develops this extreme form of love for God, he develops these ideas or attitudes towards God. The first form mentioned in the glorification of the attributes of the Lord, a devotee actually starts his devotion with this. God's glory has to be meditated upon so that gradually we become more and more attached to him. No? If you are glory, you look at the nature. Who has created? These seasonal changes are coming, the leaves are coming out, it is becoming old, it is dried, it fall down, and again seasonal change, and the life is coming, blooming flowers, and this whole birds are flying, they are going to their nest, they are coming from there, they are going for their meal, and when they are happy, they are just flying in their own joy. Look at it, the nature, and you say, thank God, thank God, thank God. Who is behind this? Who is behind it? You can one can uh, one can spend time. Ramakrishna used to say, there came a sadhu, a holy man. He used to meditate. He used to come out of his room, a cottage, and clap his hand. Kaisa sundar dunya banaya. Huh? What a glorified world has been created by God. Everywhere, seeing the sun, seeing the Mother Ganga flowing of the Ganga, seeing the Dakshineshwar ground, trees, plants, birds chirping. You can thank God seeing this entire glory. What is going on? What is there? Huh? Who has done this? Yeah, your mind will be filled with thanks to God and thinking of God. You can do that. So that's the glory. Second, then comes his beauty. Huh? To think of the beauty of the Lord is moving a little bit closer or making a closer relationship with the divine. First of all, divine this world, how beautiful is that glory? No? That's little different. I am here, that is there. But here next comes beauty. That means you are personally coming to closer experience of your feelings. Then comes the worship, which means offering. You are more close. You are offering to the deity here. You are putting flower. You are giving incense. You are cleaning the bed. You are doing more close touch. It is closer and closer. And which means offering worship to him or even attachment to his worship. Next is attachment to remembrance. Then various other attitudes are mentioned. Attachment to God as his servant. This is the beginning of a close personal relationship. Now we come. That's why Shanto Dasso Shakka Vatsala Madhura. These 5 moods of devotional practice is called, you are bringing God to your close personal relationship. As if God is, you and God is jointly working together. So this is the beginning of a close personal relationship with him, the attitude of a servant towards the master. The devotee considered himself as a servant and God as his master. Next in order, nearness is considering him as my friend of a devotee. Now, this relationship means being almost at the same level as it were. A servant keeps himself at a little distance from the master, but a friend need not keep any kind of distance. He is so intimate that he considers God as his equal. Now, Krishna and Arjuna, when they are friends, they think that they are their equal. This is the beauty of the relationship of friendship. Even more intense is the relationship between father or mother and the child. No? So closer, much closer. So these are saying closer relationship. God may be treated here as a child, and the devotee may consider himself or herself as the father or mother. This is a very sweet relationship where there cannot be any question of give and take. Eh? Normally, child, when you give something to child will not give you back anything. He cannot give you. You can give sweets, you can give all your love and affection. But what the child will give? He will give a smile or he will give a cry. These 2 things he understands. Either crying or smiling or so, but that means it is called the unconditional gift. Parents are giving unconditional gift at that stage to the children. So the parents expect nothing from the child at that time. They have only to give and nothing to gain in return. This is the relationship the devotee bears towards Lord. God is the receiver of love, protection, and care. He is receiving my love. Huh? What he gives, he does not give anything, but he gives. That's why people love the children to play with. But it is not any physical thing that they will give you. He has no money. He is not no laddu, nothing, no sweets, or nothing, excepting as he is, his naturalness. The God, the devotee does not seek any kind of return from this child. So it is naturally the most unselfish type of love. Later, it is attachment to him, considering God as the beloved. Relationship is becoming deeper, deeper, deeper. When you say servant, she is further away. Servant on master servant don't sit together, no. But friend sits with friend closer. And friend sits with friend, one relationship. Then friend, no friend. He is my child. And that relationship, part of me. Child is a part of mom and dad. So they think I belong. And that relationship, deeper, closer relationship. And then this is supposed to be the closest kind of relationship, most intimate and intense form of love. Next comes attachment. Oh yeah, that is the sweetheart's love for the. This is the relationship of the sweetheart towards her paramour. This is the beloved, thinking God is my beloved. The more intimate. Now next comes attachment to self-surrender to the Lord. The Lord's will be done. He, but everything that comes to him, he considers as coming from God. And he completely surrenders himself to his will. This is a great, great, great spiritual attitude. Good comes, suffering comes, joy comes, everything God is giving. I have no complaint. I accept it because it's coming from God. It's a surrender, total surrender. I have nothing to say. Oh Lord, you like whatever. Ours is Shishya Padaratang Pinastu. You may embrace me or you may kick me. Oh Lord, I don't care. You are my heart and soul. Whatever you do, I accept. It is your love. I am blessed. So this is total surrender. In happiness, people can think of God. But when suffering goes, to think that it is God's grace, that is a higher, higher state. One can take this attitude. He completely surrenders himself to his will. Next is the attachment or desire for complete absorption in God. This absorption may be so intense that the feeling that God and his devotee are different is removed. Only God remains and the devotee completely disappears, becoming completely absorbed in the divine love. His personality ceases to be a separate personality but gets absorbed in God. The last form is the desire for extreme pain brought about as a result of the absence of realization of God that arises in the heart of the devotee. Ramakrishna was so feeling pain of separation that he wanted to kill himself with the soul. And that is the point. At this exclusive, extreme point, Mother appeared as a divine manifestation of the Absolute. He feels that every moment that he is separate from God is intolerable. This form is the last one. But this pain is something which the devotees do not like to shun. He does not wish to be relieved of this pain because it is caused by the supreme anguish due to Lord's absence. This is said to be the most effective form of devotion to God, which immediately brings in its train complete absorption in God. God realization invariably comes with the dawn of this kind of feeling in the mind of the devotee. When that type of anguish comes, the life is meaningless without God. But if I do that, you will kill yourself only. That's called suicide. But not, God will not come. Really, if one is charged with God consciousness, absorption, and forgetting the world, days, months, years, nothing for him in the world, that person's sincere urge is this. Otherwise, doing fake show of devotion. I want to kill. No? Swami Vivekananda jokingly in the Baranagar monastery, he is telling, oh, I am panting for God, nothing. I mean, bring me a knife, I shall kill myself. It's just a joke. It is not, it's making a joke because people may think that I without God, how can I do? And do some killing, self-killing. That is not so easy. And that's a fake thing. Fake thing will give its fake result. You will have to go to hospital. Uh, but this type of thing, when it come real urge, then you see the vision of God will come. These are the various forms of love mentioned in this aphorism. They are different aspects of the same love of God. Although this love is one, it may be manifested in these 11 forms. The idea is that God realization may be attained through any of these various attitudes. That is why these 11 forms of love are detailed so that the devotee may cultivate any one of them. You choose one, whatever you like. You can take any attitude and make that attitude your practice every day with God, the relationship with God. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the awakening of the intense devotion of God, it is necessary for the devotee to think in terms of some sort of relationship to be established with God. That's why we give the Ishta Devata. You think he is your beloved Lord, Krishna, or Rama, or Ramakrishna, or Christ, or Buddha. That is, so many are there, but that is your chosen ideal. Think of him day and night, day and night, day and night. And then this type of absorption will come. He should look upon God in one of the following ways: as a master, as a friend, as a child, as a sweetheart, etc. Any one of these attitudes will suffice for God realization. Although in the scriptures on the bhakti cult, it has been said that gradually an attitude of veneration towards God, the scriptures, etc., develops. It is not mere veneration, but is also mixed with love. That is called Shanta Bhava. The monastic attitude is that they love God, try to see God in everywhere. There is no higher emotion expressed like that of a child, as a mother does for the child, as a friend does for the friend. Just that type of emotion is not here, but it is calmness and peacefulness. There is no exuberance of feeling in this attitude. A person quietly thinks of God, meditates upon Him with all the tendencies subdued, his mind still and made completely calm. That we normally call the meditation, what we are normally teach. Create a very deep and calm relationship with God and meditate and feel His presence. That is the Santa mood. That is why it is called Shanta. When the waves of the mind are quiet, they become just like an ocean without any ripple. There were sages who had great respect for Krishna, but kept themselves far away from him, thinking that they were too insignificant to be able to approach God. So that feeling of difference or distance is present to a very appreciable degree. In the Bhagavata, there is a beautiful verse describing the devotion of the sages. What are the sages? The sages who are immersed in the bliss of the self also had selfless devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Such is the glory of the Lord. This relationship is the beginning of one's attitude towards God. This has not been described as an attitude which a devotee should be continue to have. He may begin with his attitude, but then he must outgrow this stage. Of course, a person of that type, say an ascetic or a sage, may have that attitude, and yet he may be great. The cultivation of devotion, however, requires more intimacy. When you call devotion, there is a relationship, and that intimacy, intensity should be there. Devotee does not like to be satisfied with a relationship where God is far away from him, beyond his reach. So he has to cultivate a more personal relationship with God. Though we have mentioned these relationships above, we elaborate on them here again. So he is again elaborating the same attitude. The first is the series of the personal relationship with God, is that of looking upon God as the master and oneself as the servant. Here there is no exuberance, but there is more closeness. A servant looks upon the master with respect, no doubt, but yet there is a loving relationship between them. A servant not only respects his master but also loves him. So this is more intense relationship. Now, in the Ramayana, an illustration is given in the relationship between servant and his master, in that between Hanumana and Sri Ramachandra. Hanumana is a great devotee of Ramachandra. He considered his aim in life to be nothing but serving Sri Rama. He completely devoted himself to the service of his master. This is an illustration of the devotion of servant to the master. Next is the relationship between the friend. God considered to be a friend. A friend does not think so much of the greatness of the friend because the ideas of greatness create a difference. My friend may be a great man to others, but in my eyes, he is just a friend, almost on the same footing as myself. All these relationships have been illustrated in the life of Krishna, in the Leela of Krishna in Vrindavan. We find all of them beautifully illustrated in the Bhagavata. The relationship of a friendship is beautifully illustrated in the life of Krishna and his playmates, the cowherd boys of Vrindavan. The cowherd boys never considered Krishna to be a very superior person. They had no qualms about even riding on his shoulder or offering him food already tasted by themselves. That kind of relationship is possible only when there is an intensely simple approach, as in friendship. A friend deals with a friend as an equal, having nothing to hide from him, being happy in seeing his friend happy in every respect, and on the same footing. The cowherd boys of Vrindavan had the relationship of Krishna. Then comes the feeling of the parent towards child, the relationship of Yashoda to Krishna. So Krishna was actually the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. But on the very day he was born, he was removed to the house of a couple who lived far away from the place he was born. They called the Nanda and Jasoda. They were simple people who lived by raising cattle and selling milk and dairy products. It was to their house that Krishna was taken, lest Kamsa, who was out to kill him, should find him. That is the story. They say that similar story is told in the life of Jesus. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem, King Herod was told by his informants that the child born of Mary would be the king of the Jews. So Herod was anxious to kill the child. Jesus was therefore taken away to Egypt so that Herod could not lay hands on him. Herod ordered the killing of all the infants in Bethlehem so that although he could not recognize Jesus, he thought that Jesus would be one of them and so would be killed. So in the same way, Kamsa was after Sri Krishna and wanted to destroy him. So Sri Krishna was quietly carried away from the prison into his parents, and the other being kept in the Kamsa to a distant place in the Jamuna river and put the house in Nanda's house, Nanda and Jasoda. They brought him up, and the story goes Jasoda also giving birth to a child at about the same time as Sri Krishna was born, but did not know whether the child was a boy or a girl. When Sri Krishna was brought there, the child born to Jasoda was taken away and Krishna put in the place. Nanda and Jasoda therefore considered Sri Krishna to be their own son and poured out their own love on him. It is a beautiful story which is narrated in chapter after chapter in the Bhagavata describing Jasoda's and Nanda's love for the child Krishna. They never thought of his greatness. When Sri Krishna even displayed some extraordinary miracle, they thought them to be the work of some demon and so performed propitiatory sacrifices as parents may do, so that the demon might leave him, never thinking that the child was none other than God manifested in the form of child. So this is the way. So the attitude of a devotee towards God was not present there, although at the time of Jasoda was that told that Krishna was none other than God. So Ma to the mother, boy is boy, my child is my child. Though he know he is God himself, but mother didn't look upon the baby as God, but my child. So that is the asakti attitude, and one can realize God by this. So people may consider it to be so this type of different attitudes, but it's ultimately it leads us to the Brahman. So now the last verse only it is said that thus unanimously declared without caring as to what people may say, the teachers of devotion, verse number 83, that is called Kumaro, Vyaso, Shuko. These are all names of the ancient sages, all unanimously glorify that bhakti is the great, and bhakti practice can be done easily. So our time is up. So I end here. Another day I will take this till. So same verse 83. We'll just it is we have talked enough. We can nothing new will come up, but to read the verse which I have not finished, we'll do that next Tuesday. I think there is no question, of course.
Yes, there is one.
Okay, I end it here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. So, one question is coming. M used to go back to his notes after his job to be in holy company of the Master. I am in the music industry, and the people I am around with are usually into things of lower nature. Will reading of the Gospel of Ramakrishna and other holy books clean my mind from those interactions? Yes, you know, this is called giving a turn to the things, which is turn to the things. The music, which is a love music, ordinary human love. But an expert mind, if you want to really turn it to God, you can think this is a love between the God and his devotee. So personality changes. But you can think this love music, what is they're talking about loving each other, it is between God and you. You can identify yourself. That may change, and you can work well and also get spiritual benefit. If you can please call me, then I can really discuss with you personally. Okay? So, my phone number, you can get it online. So, we can talk about this particular question. It is an attitude. You can change the attitude. I know that there was a monk who was visiting a place, and there was one young boy. He was going to college going boy probably, and he said that everything can be associated with God. So there is a song, very popular song of that time, that uh, you and me will make this life most joyful and pleasant in our happy marriage, like that. That was a mundane song. And the Swami told him, okay, this distracts me. I want to lead a very pure thought, but this type of thought, marriage, this, that. Well, yes, it's a marriage with God. You can think that you, oh Lord, you and me, thinking of you day and night, and living in your constant mental companionship. I will make my life a pleasant life, joyful life, blissful life. Can you not do that? Think that way. So it is there is a possibility. So it is a attitude. Spirituality is attitude. But true, it is difficult. It is difficult in odd situation. But in favorable situation, it may be much more easy. But every odd situation can be made favorable in Bhakti path, taking all the 11 types of relationship we have just discussed. You take any of the attitude which is fitted to your present work situation, and you can really get the benefit of tuning yourself with God consciousness. Of course, reading of gospel, reading of holy things, will of course it will help us. But when you are in work situation, you cannot read gospel there. You cannot read holy Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and this and that. You cannot do that. But how to manage that place? You be there, but you can change your attitude. When you sing the song, in your mind you can think that it is, I am creating a relationship with God as it were. God is my beloved. God is my friend. God is my mom. God is my dad. God. Tameva Mata, you are my mother. Pita Tameva, you are my father. You are my friend. You are my companion. You are my loving relationship in every way. You are all in all, oh Lord of Lords. So this type of attitude, if we gradually generate, is difficult, but it can be a solution to the problem which you are facing now.
I
Okay,
have one quick
thank you.
question. So you talked about separation anxiety. So devotee, when you said that he's thinking about God, and God never forgets. Even we forget, God never forgets for a moment. And when I'm thinking, for example, ice cream, the image of ice cream is coming. Thinking I cannot see God, the image of God is coming. So I'm thinking of God in mind, and God is thinking of me in mind. Then from where the separation anxiety is coming?
God is thinking of you, but you are not thinking of God because you are not seeing God. You are seeing ice cream as ice cream. It's a matter, material thing. Where is God? If you see, আমার সকল রসের ধারা তোমাতে হয় যেন হারা. Huh? So can you bring all the rasa, all types of experience, taste into taste of God? Can you do that? Anything you are coming? Karuna ras, Bidrup ras, all types of taste in our human behavior is there. It can be, can you feel that it's coming from God? Then where is the difference? There is no difference. But we think it is coming, this man is bad. That guy is good. That me I am very happy with because he was such a guy, he helped me. Oh, she is such a nasty person, he did this. But we don't see it is God coming to me. If we see, then I am not forgetting God and God is not forgetting me. God's side is okay all the time. But my I don't think that way. I think in my own way. So I am not connected that way. It is not a bhakta. We are not bhakta there. If we can do that, then it's a bhakta. And there is no separation there.
So Bhakta doesn't have any separation anxiety.
Bhakta, no, but yeah, bhakta can have separation anxiety when it becomes so intense that it is impersonal. God is there and God is in me, and I am thinking I am finding one type of peacefulness. But no, I want to see him concretely. I want to, Ramakrishna. I want to see Mother concretely. I want to see him tangibly as I'm seeing you. So that is a very intense state of personification of the Absolute. That's a different thing. We do not understand that. It is, that's why Shanto Bhava. I am meditating and I'm thinking God is infinite, God is this and that, and I'm happy with that. There is, it is called the Shantobhav. But Shantobhav is intensified, it emerges, emerges, emerges. When you emerge, and if one can emerge, just before emerging, there is a tremendous and a sense of separation, feeling will come. I have not seen, I want to see, I want to feel in every pore of my body. I want to tangibly see, tangibly like this I will see. Ramakrishna says, as I'm holding the fan, God can be seen this way. No? So that concretization situation, that when mind comes, there will be this separation, pain of separation. That's why Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya could not spare a moment. He wonder if I don't see you, O Lord, for a blinking of my eye, for blinking, how many seconds it takes, how much fraction of a second it takes. If I forget you for that time, then I feel as if I am not seen you for thousands of years. So that's a separation anxiety. So that's a very, very, very high level. It only can come for very, very advanced soul. Okay, so we end here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And we'll be again meeting at 7:30 p.m. in our class on Shanti Gita. Okay, thank you.